you owe a debt that can never be repaid. And so, Mr. to Dr. Talbot and to J. Mason Brewer and to Ivory Moore, those guys, I owe a debt that can never be repaid. And so, as a result of that, on campus, I try to have a presence with the students. I meet and greet everybody, and there are times, sometimes there are 4 or 5 students out here waiting just to come and talk, because I make sure I try to be to them what Dr. Brewer and Mr. Moore and Dr. Talbot was to me.
And what was that?
A friend, a mentor, someone who encouraged you, someone who pushed you. One of my favorite things, and it's just kind of common in this office, I grill everybody. When I meet them, everybody starts laughing and says, here he goes. Where you from? What's your major? What you gonna do when you grow up? Yeah, and I ask that question, and if they tell me they're gonna, well, I'm majoring in, I'm gonna be a psych major. I said, okay, so, and you're gonna get your master's in what? Yeah,
that's my the freshman.
Yeah, that's my step one. That's my next one. So you're gonna get your master's in what? And then you're gonna do what? I want to be a teacher. And then what are you gonna do after that? What? So when does the superintendencies kick in? When does that happen? Because you know you're gonna be a principal, and then ultimately you're gonna be the superintendent. So when is that gonna happen? You are thinking about doing that, right? And by the time I finish with them, they walk out of here and say, "Wow, he really got me."
not just the 5-year plan, the 25-year plan.
Yeah. So that's what they were to me. They were inspiring. They let you know again that they wanted you to be the very best you could be.
What kind of interaction did you have with Ivory Moore?
Now, Mr. Moore was a character as well. There was a situation with in the community. Long story, I'll give you the short version. We're still 15 minutes, I'm okay. Where we were assaulted by a constable here. There were 4 of us downtown, and did a kind of a crazy little U-turn to park, and the guy made this racial slur to us, and we got out of the car, we're looking at him like, who's that? And he said it again, and so we're like, you go to hell. And so we go in the store. Long story, short version is that slapped my roommate, slapped me, threatened us with his gun. We, after collecting ourselves, went to the police, found out that this guy was a very good friend of the police chief, and that indeed, if we didn't apologize for what he claimed we disrespected him in front of his wife, that we were going to jail. The guy was in an unmarked car. We don't know who he was. He was just a guy.
You go to jail for disrespect too? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were going to jail for disrespecting him and his wife.
Wow.
Yeah, and so Mr. Moore, we don't tell this story very much, but we knew that we had to do something and we couldn't let it get by. And so we wrote letters to the NAACP. We wrote it to everybody we could. We wrote letters to the newspaper here on campus, in the community, and one of the reporters in the community picked it up, came and interviewed us. Story was never written because it was squashed, but the word got back to this constable that we were talking. And what we found out was that it wasn't just us that he had done that to. He had done it to students of all walks of life on this campus, and was terrorizing the Norse community. So we took it upon ourselves to cause a little havoc in his life. And this was long before caller ID. And about that time, a policeman in Dallas had been killed. We cut the article out. Everything we cut it out. We mail it to him. We do stuff anonymously. And long story about Mr. Moore is Mr. Moore, you may not ever remember this, but word got to Mr. Moore that we shouldn't be in the community, that our safety, we were safe on campus, but if we went off the campus and we were alone and this guy caught us, that there would be hell to pay. And so he called us to his office, and he made us aware of that. And so, can't say that he saved our life, but we were astutely aware of that guy was quite unhappy with our actions. And so Mr. Moore was always there for us. Mr. Moore was more radical than Dr. Talbot and J. Mason Brewer. He was younger when he came, and his role was different. And so Mr. Moore, more than anything, he helped, like the other guys, to encourage us, to tell us, guys, you did nothing wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. But he was an administrator, and he couldn't get involved in that. He had to walk a thin line, but he kept us aware of
You didn't do
things.
anything wrong, but you still can't. You're just sequestered to the campus.
Yeah, well, you know what? Our life was pretty much on this campus anyway.
Right. Okay.
We, other than going downtown to shop every now and then, well, the town went wet then, and so we had the Showdown and all the other clubs that were here. I can't remember the name of the club that was out that had the lights in the floor. I can't even remember the name of that doggone thing.
Sounds like you were there, though.
Oh, I was there quite a few times. So
One time.
yeah. So things changed when the town went wet, and they had all the bars, and they would do fraternity night. It was fraternity night, and so that was really our involvement in the community. Other than shopping every now and then downtown, going to church, and to the clubs, our life was pretty much on this campus.
What was so did the constable ever get outed in any of the mainstream press, or did
No.
he just worked his career and retired? So what is his name?
Toy Benson.
Toy Benson. And because I'm just wondering, it'd be so. Did you know this name?
No, I don't.
was-
I just know that
And was a constable.
Constable.
that Bob Chastain, who was in the history department, said when he first came here, a constable stopped him. I think it was on Live Oak in Bodark, and wanted to know if he wanted to buy some bootleg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy, after we talked with so many different people, we found out that he was just a mean guy, and the same thing or similar that had happened to us had pretty much happened to students all walks of life on this campus who were off campus.
And it wasn't going to change. His tenure is going to end at some point, and our life is on campus anyway, so it's not worth continuing to
Yeah,
pursue.
what were we to do?
Did you hear back from NAACP?
We did.
And what were they suggesting?
The suggestion pretty much was, guys, I might still have the letters somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, so
I'm
I
okay.
think let's
Yeah.
wrap it up at this point, and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
maybe we need to come back, I think, maybe for another session with your...
Yeah, and I apologize for getting so long-winded. You
No,
you're
that's what
You
we-
conjured up some
fantastic.
things that I had certainly I'd almost forgotten about.
Just a quick, though you said that the word on the NAACP was suggesting.
Yeah, their comment to us was, you are there to get your education, and it's probably best that you continue to do that and leave.
Because it won't be in your best interest to
Yes.
pursue. This is bigger than you.
Yep.
I'd love to see those letters.
We were disappointed.
I bet. Demoralized, I would imagine.
Yep.
But they were right, I guess, essentially. What
Yeah.
else can
What
there
were we
be
gonna do?
done? Yeah.
It was one of those, I can't believe this happened.
Was that your first chance at that? Your first real exposure to the limits of agency?
I had been accosted by Dallas police on different occasions. On one occasion, actually, during high school, I'm headed to school. Dallas DISD gets out of school for Fair Day.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
it's fair day.
Black Fair Day.
Yeah, it's fair day. But this is